Hello, Sydney asked me to do a few tips for moms with littles. My name is Susan. I have been homeschooling. This is my 16th year, but I have 9 children. And so I have been in the throes of doing homeschool with littles for a very long time. So I know it can be done, but every season seems to be a little bit tougher at times. I will admit, having a child who happens to be a boy between the ages of 1 to about 3 is probably the toughest time because they are active and they're involved and they're daredevils. It's just the way it goes. Our fourth son, when he was little, he used to climb up on the table and write on everybody's pages during school, which made my children who had perfection mentality go nuts. And so I've experienced this and homeschooling with littles for a very long time, and so I just want to come and share a few points of interest with that, and then also give a few hands-on tips. Like I said, my name is Susan. I have 9 sweet children. They range from the age of 20 all the way down to almost 1 year old in a couple weeks. And so as this journey has begun, I've learned a few tips to help me stay sane, but there are definitely moments where I feel like pulling my hair out. So you're not alone. We're in this together, and let's see if I can help you a little bit, or at least encourage you that it's okay. You're okay. Everybody's okay. First of all, I want to tell you that homeschooling children in general is just a walk in the park. Homeschooling children with littles around you is like walking in a park. It's called Jurassic Park. They come and attack at all sorts of places in sorts of ways that you never anticipate. Whether you're giving a spelling test and then all of a sudden you have to stop because you have to mediate between a fight, or maybe you have to change your diaper, or maybe whatever may happen. So life is always full of interruptions when you're homeschooling with littles. Second of all, this is probably one of the main keys I want to really impress upon you. Those littles need your time just like your older kids do. In fact, they need more of your time. And so sometimes I find that I'm ready to get school started. I want to go immediately. And my littles are still needing their mama to hold them, to read books to them, to encourage them. And so I find it very important that before I start school that I try to fill in the love bank of my little ones before that begins. So that can look different ways. For example, this morning, my 3-year-old was sitting at the table and eating, and I came and sat down, and she sat beside me, and so we just sat there for the longest time, just chit-chatting a little bit and talking, and she did really well from that point on. My baby is, he's King Kong. But he needs just time for me to sit on the floor. And so when I came downstairs, he was playing on the ground, and I just sat with him for a few minutes and played with the little toys and put some things together and stacked them up. And he was good for a little while after I did that, because I initiated that, hey, you're still important and I still love you. The third thing I want to share is that you need to expect chaos. If you think that your homeschool is supposed to look like school, where everybody's quiet and both feet are flat on the ground and their back are straight and they're going to be writing and they're going to be doing their schoolwork, you are in the wrong business, because that is all filming. That is not reality. Even teachers in classrooms will tell you that's not a reality, because kids are different. Just like kids are different they're different at our home. There are times when my kiddos are standing and doing schoolwork. There are times when they're sitting on the ground and doing schoolwork. There's times when they are jumping up and down and doing schoolwork. And so it takes a variety away. But it does bring a level of chaos, and the little ones just add to that chaos. And so if you go into the school area and say, I have 2 hours, I expect us to get 30 minutes worth of true school done, then your expectations are probably set appropriately. If you go in and say, I have 2 hours, but I'm going to cram in 3 hours worth of school stuff, your chaos is going to be so magnified, because it's just not going to work. Your kids can't do that. The littles will not participate in that. And so it's all about what you're putting your mind to. Number 4, you need to be okay with a mess. Almost every single day, the books in this bookcase behind me are pulled out. Almost every single day. I have a group of puzzles down here. Caleb will show you. You want to show them the puzzles? The puzzles down here. And inevitably, this stuff is all pulled out and put on the floor. It is a really great, big, beautiful mess. And so that's just the way we roll. And I just let the messes keep happening. And then eventually, we clean it all back up after we're done with whatever we're doing. So you have to expect that there's going to be messes. And in a minute, I'll show you my where I do school is in our basement. In our basement, we have our playroom / school area for our younger kiddos, and we sit at a school table. So like I said, I've been homeschooling for 16 years. I did not have a schoolroom until about 10 years ago, and since then we've had homes that have allowed us to have space for school, which is really nice when you have 9 kids. So we have this space, but all around us is surrounded with toys. All around us. And Kayla's going to do, you might get blocked out because of the sunshine. I apologize. But you see that there is tons of toys. And if you really looked closely, you would see a huge mess. Like you can't walk pretty far without hitting something because everything's not in its place. It's just not. That's life. This is chaos. This is what I expect. This is a mess. And it will get cleaned up, and then tomorrow it will be all messy again. Number 5, you have all day. You do not have to get all your school done in a short period of time. You can utilize your schedule for your benefit. You can utilize naps for your benefit. You can utilize rest times for your benefit. This is about you and what you can handle and what you want to do with your kiddos. The expectation is that they're going to learn something, but they cannot learn if you're in a frenzy because it's not going like you want it to go. And so if you take your schedule and you allow God to work through those pieces with you, I promise you that it's all going to work out. I was pretty much up in arms yesterday with several of my kiddos because we were just not getting things accomplished. And I was very exhausted. I'd been going all day long. In fact, I went all day and all evening. And I was exhausted. But I went before the Lord and I just kept saying, God, either I need to change my perspective or you need to show me what I can change so that these goals are getting met. And he just said, you're not utilizing your day for the benefit that it is. And so we have to really work on that, and I have to work on that. So rest times and nap times are really important. And you can get a little bit of reading in that with your kindergartner and your first grader during rest times and nap times. And you know what? Sometimes it's just after dinner. You take 15 minutes to work on a worksheet with your first or second grader, whatever it may be. And they may not finish the whole sheet at once, but you could do half a sheet and then half a sheet later. So utilize your schedule for your best. The 6th thing is here's a little secret. It never gets all done. Never, 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 never. Never do I get to say, whew, we are finished. We did a week's worth of our schoolwork in the 5 days that was allotted with all the children. It just has never happened. Things are always going awry. Children learn at different paces. And so my goal isn't to get through the worksheets. My goal is that my children understand what they're doing on the worksheets before we get through it, or they understand what they're reading, or they grapple with whatever concept they're working through. And sometimes that means I need to sit down and work on a character issue because school is secondary to character. And so in our homeschool, and so we need to work through that process. Number 7, I've said it before, realistic expectations. You need to go in it with really what can your child do? What can you do? What does your home allow for? And number 8 is really important. You need to celebrate your victories. Celebrate. You know, my daughter struggles with division, and today she got a division problem done correct on the first try. It was a celebration dance because that is a huge deal for her, and there were no tears in the process. So that is huge, and so we celebrate. Here's some practical tips for you. 1, you can feed the littles. As you can see, we have food at our school table downstairs for the littles. We have his little exerciser over here, if you want to turn the camera to the side, Caleb. So we have a little exerciser over here for him that he sits in while I give him some food right now. Baby doll's taking the presence of that. Number 2, here's the secret. Screen time is your friend. It is not your enemy. So utilize it for what's best. There are times when my daughter, who is 3, really just needs to have some alone time. And so giving her a 30-minute timer and saying, you may watch something for 30 minutes, let it be. And then other times I can put on music and it changes the whole atmosphere of her and the house. And so those things work. So screen time is your friend. Allow it to be your friend. Number 3, outside. Recently in Colorado, we've had some really great weather. Thank you, Jesus. And we've been able to do a little bit of school outside at the same time. So when they get antsy, we can just go outside. There are times where I put, we'll sit on my porch and we will take out clipboards, and that way we do school when the littles are playing outside when it's really nice. So utilize what you have. You don't need to buy 1,000 things, but you've been given a gift in various ways. And the last thing is that we do is I let my older children take care of my younger kiddos. So if I am working on phonics with my kindergartner, which is really a difficult subject for her, learning how to read, I will ask that one of my older children take 10 minutes and play with each one of the little ones. And so they're responsible for entertaining them in whatever form they need to be entertained. And so that has really given me a lot of freedom. I do recommend setting timers, because before you know it, it's been 30 minutes or an hour, and time has just escaped you. So those are my little tips for working through it. But I will tell you, there are times where I want to pull my hair out on a pretty regular basis, because I wonder if they're learning anything. And then I remember that my 2 older children are presently in college and are doing really good with A's and B's, and that they can handle school in chaos in so many different ways. And so it's worth it. You're training up children to be able to handle a lot more than we anticipate. So happy homeschooling. Thank you.